As a title, Ozark pegs the show to a unique location. It has a nice oddball ring to it as well. But if this show were looking for another name, a series of unforeseen events would work pretty well. Every time Marty and Wendy Bird do, well, pretty much anything, some other unexpected thing comes back to bite them in their collective ass. That's certainly the plot of this episode, Civil Union, anyway. It begins with Marty and Ruth making a pilgrimage to Kansas City mob boss Frank Cosgrove, John Bedford Lloyd, to apologize for Ruth tossing his untouchable son off the top deck of the Bird's casino. After driving a hard bargain, and being at least semi-persuaded when Ruth says Junior threatened to rat them out, which he did, Cosgrove accepts the apology. But Marty, irritated with the whole affair, tells Ruth her job is not to create problems, but to solve them before he even hears about them. Pay attention to that, it'll pay off later. Anyway, Wendy has been spending her time trying to persuade the elderly owners of another casino boat into selling. To create that legit revenue stream for the beleaguered cartel boss Navarro that she's been promising his lawyer Helen. How beleaguered is he, you ask? As Helen puts it, I think it's safe to say he's not in a good headspace. Rimshot, the problem here is that Marty wants nothing to do with this casino. Or really anything that will root them deeper into the cartel's business. So while Wendy is persuading and cajoling, Marty is sabotaging first verbally, and then, when that fails, by asking the KC mob to shut down the ailing casino's nearby rival. Which they do by nearly blowing it up during a fireworks display. With the competition closed for business, the owners can afford not to take Wendy's deal. Only when Marty asks if anyone was hurt during the fireworks explosion does Wendy realize he had something to do with the disaster. It's a shrewd bit of character business. Now here comes that unforeseen fallout from the Marty/Ruth scene earlier in the episode. Ruth comes to Wendy with an idea of how to force the casino she wants to buy back to the bargaining table. By running a computerized slot machine scam she had investigated as part of stepping up security at the Bird's place. It works very well. When Helen tells Marty that Wendy and Ruth are taking care of the problem, he calls Ruth up, furious, demanding she cut it out. It's too late for that, but even if it weren't, she reminds him that he told her not to come to him with problems. If he hadn't said that, she might have brought this scheme up with him, and he might have had a chance to overrule Wendy shut it down. Unforeseen event. Which don't stop there, I'm afraid. Turns out that the moment the Birds purchase that second casino, a federal warrant gets triggered, allowing the FBI's forensic accounts to audit every single bit of business that goes on aboard the mothership, effectively making them partners in the operation. So much for laundering cartel money through the place, or kicking money to the KC mob to keep them at bay. Unforeseen event. There's more to the episode than that daisy chain of cause and effect, it should be noted. Jonah Bird, Skyla Gärtner, discovers that baby Ezekiel, whom his parents had fostered after killing the kid's dad, has been adopted by awful old Darlene Snell. Darlene lets Wyatt Langmore move onto the Snell family compound. Helen moves to the Ozarks for the summer, bringing along her daughter Erin, Madison Thompson, and having her shitty ex-husband beaten up when he uses the threat of court to force her to leave her son in Chicago. Erin wants to lose her virginity over the summer, which piques the interest of Jonah, who's taken to spying on the girls with his drone. He was given that idea by Wendy's ne'er-do-well brother Ben, Tom Pelfrey. An ersatz substitute teacher who flees an assault rap after blowing up at students for messaging one another a photo that reduces one of their classmates to tears. At which point he throws their phones into a wood chipper and gets in a fight with the groundskeeper.